comes out on top. So, will that be different? We'll see.
This is one of the few things that I think is definitely notable with Teldo. I mean, of course, he's a mechanical player.
Coffee time.
But yeah, now you can drink your coffee. Now the camera's not on us. I think it's mostly that Teldo just, if there's one player that I've watched a lot, he just always knows what he's about to deal with. He knows all the cooldowns of every single person on the field, no matter what. He just always knows when he can, especially his ultimate. Krook's ultimate is hard to capitalize on, and I've never seen somebody capitalize as often as they do, but we're going to see them posture up early on in this finals day. It's going to get the stun on Lucy, trying to get a little bit of damage. The bear comes out a little bit late. 2-1-3 tries to hop on Mini, and now the opposite 1v1s against the supports will ensue.
A lot of cooldowns are down already. Bulwark is spent, as was Barrier. They should be up for now, but Teldo's going to land another stun there, but the orb will go towards Mycon TeamKeepo, and so they're starting out pretty even in terms of pacing. Oh, nice.
The flick over to Teldo, fantastic. He does camouflage out. He will have his ultimate as well, but now stuck in that Mini is going to take a lot of damage. Force used the Barrier, and it gets torn through. 2-1-3 tries to M1, while Teldo tried to put the pressure on Randler. You do get a good petrify, and he's going to space out of that ultimate from Teldo as well. It's not looking great for Mini.
Teldo tried to go for a huge combo with that petrify, but just not quite enough time. Tried to get greedy, used the dash before he went for Deceit, didn't land a stun, and 2-1-3 jumped out of the Venom win there, so that's going to be a huge lost opportunity there. Randler and 2-1-3 do really well. Something I really liked in that match was resource management there for 2-1-3 and Randler. They were kind of playing even in the early exchanges. I would say pacing was in the favor of Mini and Teldo to start out because they landed a lot of damage. They were able to get a lot of cooldowns out, but 2-1-3 and Randler cut it out really well. And then the fact that they won the center orb gave them the edge and energy, and they just spent. They immediately spent their energy, used their ultimates, and my god, was that effective. Mini just took a bath in the crippling goo, took so much damage, and the fact that 2-1-3 was able to land his ultimate chunked Teldo down to about half health. Fantastic use of meter, and also great job on them to build that meter up so quick. I like it. I love the coordination.
Waiting for that opportunity to use that ultimate, Randler knew Mini had no more mobility left, had no more roll. But again, we've talked about it before. You specifically have mentioned that it's always a risk when Lucy uses her ultimate because then it's very obvious that she can't use her roll. She has no more energy left. So it's something you definitely have to be wary of.
Yes.
Now we're going to see if Teldo and Mini can take this going into round number 2. The Bulwark does get baited out. Probably a panic or maybe a petrify. I thought was going to be, not petrify. No energy is on the table just yet. Right now, just a bunch of M1s until this orb comes out. The fight will probably begin. We're going to see that first stun actually just going right through 2-1-3 to Randler instead. They're going to ignore the orb for a bit, and that orb will go to TelRoskMi. And now 2-1-3 is going to try and push Teldo into the wall to protect his ally. Barrier goes up. Oh, he does
this
actually
is gonna hurt.
Out of that. This isn't going to be too great. Stun followed by some lethal injections. Randler takes some damage. Teldo just refuses to leave him alone.
Only one more healing flash left on Randler, and he does spend it. It'll be up to Teldo and Mini to see if they can connect again, and here it comes. Oh, the clarity potion, the timing for Teldo was so good.
Oh, that panic on 2-3, but it couldn't push him out of the orb just in time, and they still will sneak it. TelRoskMi gets orb number 2 as well. 2-3 now going to get stunned. His Bulwark is down. He's going to try and M through. He has to wash out. Gets some shield up. Teldo is not looking too great.
Watch out for the turnaround. Actually, 2-1-3 has ultimate, and here it comes. Going to land on Mini. Would have much preferred it to be on Teldo, and so they're going to survive just a little bit longer. And so far, Teldo and Mini are trading pretty well. Swift roll out of the crippling goo, and the meter is going much better on the side of TelRoskMi this time.
Oh, the space bar is down. He has to get barriered through that, but
again!
Another orb. Goes to TelRoskMi. The barrier is down for TeamKeepo at the moment. Randler had to use it to get through that Krook ultimate for 2-1-3.
Health bars are now low enough that actually Teldo and Mini have an opportunity to land a kill onto 2-1-3. He actually dashes out of it. Let's see if that will convert into anything for TelRoskMi, but I think it's going to go really well. Oh, use a jump, maybe a misclick.
I think it was the Deceit. He thought that Krook was coming towards him. Just the bait alone of going into Deceit forced 2-1-3 to try and attempt to take him down.
Their positioning is good, though. There's not a very good way for Teldo or Mini to punish. We'll see. This is very close right now. If Teldo lands a hit, it could be the end of the round here. Nice clarity push from Randler.
Oh, Teldo's not looking so great for you. And
the train! Teldo jump! Oh, got him. And 2-1-3 Randler start out really, really strong. Coming out of the gates really, really strong.
It's looking like they are trying to finally get Teldo's number. 2-3 now, performing well against this Krook. Teldo trying to put that pressure on, but it just seems like they're having a tough time keeping that damage on Randler. Randler's doing a good job of clarity potioning away from Krook, keeping Krook off of him. So Teldo has to back out before 2-3 starts to lay enough damage. And 2-3 and Randler seem to be capitalizing a little more often.
I love the positioning from 213, 213, and Randler, making it very difficult for Mini and Tello to punish any kind of cooldown spending that 213, 213 had. In that last game, Mini and Tello got 4 center orbs to only 1 on the side of 213, 213 and Randler. And that really helped them sustain in the match. Problem being is they could not push aggressively into it because they were still losing health. Tello was about even in health compared to 213, 213, and Mini was about even compared to Randler. And so despite the fact that Tello and Mini were putting on so much pressure defensively, TeamKeepo was countering damage back really well.
The patience of Teldo's camouflage does bring out the bulwark on 2 and 3, but now a lot of cooldowns have been reset. It would jump in on the orb, but it will get taken again by TelRoskMi. Now Teldo trying to go on Randler, but 2 and 3 trying to protect him and doing a good job. Teldo picks up a little bit of health up with the little green candies. Gets the stone on Randler, but the barrier's going to come out and protect him from any max hit damage.
The barrier gets dispelled, and there's still a panic flash available. The Venom Wind comes out really, really early, and 213 takes a lot of damage, but he has the opportunity to counter out a ton. There's
the ultimate. Oh, he gets the orb instead, so he will secure himself just with a little bit of energy, but not enough damage put on the enemy teams. Now Teldo's going to go down on Randler again. Gets actually a good bit of chunks, but the deadly inject, and he will not be able to iframe out of it, but he actually does decede into it instead.
Randler with a great clarity potion is going to save himself from that scenario, and Teldo is all of a sudden looking really, really unhealthy. The next stick of butter that either Randler or 213, 213 gets could be the end.
Oh, what a clarity potion.
Nice, Petrify, and Teldo is going to try to set something up off of this, maybe taking the center orb, and he does, but they're still in trouble. How will they counter out damage? Here comes the second Venom Wind.
Another Venom Wind.
It will pop.
Oh, he waited for the bulwark perfectly, but it doesn't look like Mini's going to be able to survive that goo. 2 and 3 now, just missing his ultimate, but forcing Teldo to make another jump. If anything, it pressured him into using the rest of his cooldowns, and Mycon TeamKeepo take the first map in a 3-0 sweep fashion.
Very, very interesting. Now, one of the things that you have to realize between Croak and Bako is Croak provides a lot of damage, but it comes in bursts. That's kind of the most simplistic way of putting it. You can't really boil down situations to just that. It's a little bit too much of a simplification, but definitely compared to Bako, especially with the new way that Bako works with his battle rights and how strong his war axe is, Bako can provide a lot more consistency and can stay in the fray a lot longer than Croak can, whereas Croak has to kite a lot, give away positioning. He can't hold his ground as well. And the fact that Teldo would create good openings and do a good bit of damage, I mean, there was 2 fantastic Venom wins in that match that burst down 213, 213's health quite a bit. But then after that, Teldo had to kite, whereas 213, 213 was able to stay in, apply pressure to Mini, and just continue doing damage. And I think that really just helped them catch up. So Teldo would burst down TeamKeepo's health a certain amount, and then TeamKeepo would slowly just kind of catch up, and then the next time Teldo would have to find a new opening and then burst down, and then TeamKeepo would catch up, and it'd get to the point where when it was down to the wire and there was just a little bit of health left, it was hard to justify taking a risk and initiating into that, because they knew that if 213, 213 happened to do enough damage, then they would get pushed into lethal territory, and that gets really tough. They needed to make sure that their initiation was perfect, and so I think that Bako really worked out in TeamKeepo's favor in that situation, because they were able to just kind of hold their ground and play a much more kind of solid game and not take risks.
Now, we speak a lot on the mechanical skill of 213, 213, a player who's known for his flicks. Let's actually showcase a bit of his ability to just kind of know what's going on. He's going to be targeting on one and then immediately switch over to another just to try and get the final blow.
I really like, there is good patience from Teldo to not stun himself on it. And he comes back down onto Mini, and the target choice is just so great. The barrier is going to pop, and then look at him. The instant that barrier pops, even though Mini is so close to dying, 213, 213 just swaps onto Croak. Just
look at that blind jump across the wall. Fantastic.
Gets the wall bang as well. You just have to respect out of these top players. Their decision making is really, really something to be admired. I mean, nice, and it gets the orb. In that situation, many players would have continued to try to chase down Mini, but 213, 213 knew that they have such good control of the match, and if they just slowly apply pressure here, and then swap and apply pressure elsewhere, and just continue to swap back and forth between Tello and Mini, they're going to get their health low enough that there's no way that they can kind of come back into this game. And it's all about, you don't have to win now, right? You don't have to win this instant. You can just keep winning the small battles until you get to the point where there is no other choice, right? It's kind of approaching the checkmate scenario in chess, right? You say, I'm going to move this piece here, and I know that I'm not going to threaten you in this particular scenario, but I'm just going to keep moving my pieces and cornering you until you have no more option, and then we win and then we win the round.
And a lot of it is, we talked about how strong Lucy's barrier is. It can completely nullify a Teldo ultimate. As we saw earlier, Teldo landed a good ultimate on 2-1-3, and he had no iframes to get out of it, but it got buried. Didn't matter, didn't deal any damage. So putting that pressure on Lucy, forcing her to bury herself, and then ignoring her, she, I guess, logistically wasted it. If it doesn't actually absorb any damage and you don't go for it at all, then it's going to be a little interesting. But it looks like we're going to see a champ swap on both sides.
Very interesting. I like the read from TeamKeepo. Let's see if it works out. Swap it to Mycon, maybe as a reaction to Rook being the choice. And I think it is smart for Teldo to swap onto Rook. That was one of the things that we mentioned. The burst damage compared to the consistency, I think Rook provides a little bit more consistency there.
2-3 debuted in our tournaments with Mycon. Really showcasing the skill of this champ early on.
He flicked the shadow
over to Teldo instead. And he actually did snipe the orb as well. Fantastic play. Now we're going to see him just dodge Teldo's rush. Teldo actually M2'd. It might have been a little bit of a mistake.
Oh, that's a weird wallbang. He gets it. Mini is without meter. Tries to throw a panic flash. Will miss, but the grab misses, and that's key from 2-1-3. 2-1-3 could have done a ton of damage to Mini. Ultimate will pop, and Mini has no options. Mini is just getting cornered right now and
oh my.
Open palm slapping Mini up.
Just completely wrecking her. Just going to jump right through Teldo and get the pull as well. The barrier goes on her as well, so now they're going to try and switch her targets to Teldo, who is in their face. He has no more. His counter's down. The barrier's down. He gets silenced. He's going to slowly lose max health. Swing after swing. The deadly inject is out. He can't iframe out of it. Mini might get low. He's trying to help him out. That orb. Who's going to get it? Oh, and taken again by TeamKeepo.
Not looking good for TelRoskMi, and they're actually very far behind right now. 2-1-3, 2-1-3, and Randler are playing fantastically. The amount of pressure coming out right now is seemingly unstoppable. Panic onto Mini, and just one more left click, just one more. Oh, there it is. The grip will take Mini down. I like it from 2-1-3, 2-1-3, and Randler. They are playing so well right now, especially mechanically. And
still took it.
2-1-3, 2-1-3 took a risk in the early game, flicked the Shadow Bolt over, knew that he had the guaranteed orb take off that Shadow Bolt. I'm not sure if he had the charge weapon, but if he did, it would have done enough damage to take it. But he chose to flick the Shadow Bolt, leave the orb at 30 health, got the damage onto Teldo, forced Teldo to use mobility to get out of the situation, and then 2-1-3, 2-1-3 took the orb anyways, grabbing two benefits for his team.
I think he knew that Lucy couldn't burst it down, so as soon as Lucy M1'd, he knew he could just space and secure it unless Rook were to turn around as well. So it was really smart on him to just know exactly how much health that orb had and to try and take advantage of it. And now he's going to try and go in right on Mini, and the rush whiffs and the grab whiffs as well. Now we're going to see just in the middle, TeamKeepo kind of posturing up. They're going to turn on one. Oh, and the counter does get proc. Good timing from Teldo. He's going to deal a good bit of damage. The barrier does have to get pulled out, and an in tap.
Nice.
Oh, what a great pull from 2-1-3, rescuing Randler from the Boulder Smash combo, and they will secure orb number 1.
Good awareness from TeamKeepo, and I think that teamwork is what's going to carry them to victory here. They've been playing really well, and this could be their opportunity to break through that obstacle, that barrier that was TelRoskMi.
They're now keeping a little bit of max health. They have 92 to 82%, whereas last one, they had almost everything. Teldo, got to be careful. He's going to get pulled in by 2-1-3. Oh, just out of range. This orb will get secured yet again. Such good orb control from TeamKeepo.
Good decision making from Teldo to use a knockback despite the fact that he knew he wasn't going to get a wall bang. Just wanted to avoid the situation where he get pulled into the goo. He does, but TeamKeepo is going to take the consolation win, grabbing the orb. Does land onto Randler and avoids the clarity potion. The barrier comes out. There's a bullet throw, but he's going to get rid of that pretty easily. Oh, and the Shadow Bolt is still going to land.
He does have his ultimate. Now he's going to wait for an opportunity to use it. He's going to try to pull him back into this. Oh, what an M2. The ultimate will come out. It's going to deal a lot of damage to 1, 2, 3. Going to try and pull him in, but he does proc the counter instead. Dealt a lot and negated just a bit as well.
The mitigation is so good on the side of TeamKeepo. Randler and 2-1-3, 2-1-3 are really cycling their cooldowns well, just making sure that they do not get hit by burst damage. They haven't lost nearly any max health at all. There's a crippling goo that will do a lot, and now 2-1-3, 2-1-3 is losing health. Is it enough for Mini and Teldo to catch up, however? That was one connection in 2 minutes of gameplay.
He tried to boulder dash combo, but he just missed right at the counter. Does get pulled out by the M2 from 2-1-3.
Nice.
He spaces in instead. Gets the silence on Teldo. He doesn't have much protection. The barrier must be down. Oh, and she gets panicked away. Teldo's all alone.
All right, the orb is coming up. Oh, and they will still get 4 orbs to just 1, and Teldo and Mini are in a lot of trouble. They need another big connection, and Mini needs to build a lot of resources. Crippling Goo seemingly the only way that they can get damage, and Mini has to spend EX bar peeling for himself. There's a deadly inject, there's a petrify, ultimate pop, the roll, but will the grab hit? It does, and maybe one more. No, Mini jukes really, really well. Gets out of that scenario.
Another orb. Randler now pushing Teldo. Teldo no longer has a rush. Ah, there it is. We saw it coming.
The barrier will help him.
Oh,
He's
the counter does come out. Randler
watch out!
Incapped into the darkness, but pulled right back by his teammate.
Be careful right now. Teldo and Mini may have the advantage now that the map is closing in, and there's not a lot of resource on the side of TeamKeepo. They might steal it. Rattler nearly gone. The barrier comes up just in time, but the counter gets hit. Teldo is going berserk, and he takes down Rattler. What a turnaround for TelRoskMi.
Oh, couldn't get out.
God, why? Look at that score.
Phenomenal play from honestly both teams, but the fact that TelRoskMi looking pretty low in the first probably minute and a half of that, they were still able to just mitigate the damage perfectly, deal what they needed to, start taking advantage of cooldowns. Mycon ultimate on Teldo up in the top. The goo came down, but he was able to get out of it and capitalize and deal a whole bunch of damage right back to Randler.
6 orbs to 1 was a score in that match. TeamKeepo had 6 orbs. And TelRoskMi only got 1, and that was close to the end of the match, I believe. When the map closes in, Rook is king. He is so good at small mobility scenarios because it's so tough. You hit his berserk and you can't run from him anymore. And his crushing blow covers almost the entire area of the playable field. And Teldo made good use of that. Ends up taking the round at the end.
Teldo now taking a good bit of damage. The counter will get pulled out.
Damn
and
scenario.
Oh, there's a deadly inject because they know they can't iframe. He has to get barrier, so they're just going to change targets to Mini, but he will get panicked away. And now Randler's left all alone with Teldo.
Oh, the counter is spent. Teldo's still in trouble. They did a good bit of exchange damage. Rush isn't going to land, and that's important.
Uh-oh, this orb is low. He will. Oh, the ultimate does come out, try and tear through the barrier, but doesn't get much, and that orb will go to TelRoskMi.
Good gameplay from Mini there to fight out 2-1 through 2-3. Body block the grip that was going to take the orb, and they got it instead. There's a crippling goo into the incapacitate. They have to spend cooldowns. Teldo is trying to chase down. Here he comes if he lands a big shot. Oh, he gets panicked out, and that's going to save Randler from that scenario. Mounts up. Very nice from Randler.
That panic alone is what saved him. He had nothing left. Wasn't able to get. Oh, and that just gets sniped out by Randler by the M1. Now Teldo's going to turn around, try and get revenge for that orb. There comes the combo. The armor break is up, but 2-3 is putting just as much pressure on Mini.
It's a 1v1 split, and Randler continuously lands CC. Mini and Randler are actually pretty even on health, and there's a lot of butter on both teams. Let's see how this shakes out. Shadow Bolt there gets a counter. Oh, the orb goes to TelRoskMi, and that might be big.
Oh, the big stun and the big double incap. They're going to turn it on Randler, who's a lot lower, but the barrier does come out. And now the ultimate will. Oh,
there's a lot of cooldowns. Randler! Nice!
Randler, what a petrified just as he gets out there. Randler keeping himself alive.
Barrier still down. Oh, gets smashed. Randler gets turned into pancake, and Teldo now in a 2v1 situation. 2-1 through 2-3 has to make something amazing happen, but this second round, or rather third round, is probably going to go to TelRoskMi.
He is going to get that orb, though. He's going to almost build up an entire half of a bar as well. He might be able to do this if he grabs some of the candies laying around, green and yellow.
Oh, nice.
It's going to be a tough situation.
Consume is up. There it is. Now it's gone. Gets a crushing blow.
No, it's not looking great for him. He is starting to go down. Too much CC, too much pressure. And TelRoskMi take round number 3.
It's happening. It's happening again,
They might tie this up.
It's happening again. I thought Randler at 2-1-3, going 3-0 in the first map meant that they had overcome their differences, or rather difficulties. But then, and even the first round of this map looked really good for Randler in 2-1-3, but then it started falling apart in the second round. They lost in the overtime scenario, and then Teldo and Mini make a big connection onto Randler, and they lose the next round as well. All of a sudden, map point going to Mini and Teldo. They might tie it up.
This is fantastic, exactly what we were hoping. It's a shame this is the quarters, but this is the grand finale. The top 8 teams going toe-to-toe to see if they can get this grand prize. We will see who will take this next
opening.
one.
There's a grip already. Barrier has been spent. Mini has no bar to use his roll. Baits out the consume. That's good, but the R gets spent. That's resource advantage right there. 101. Learn about it.
He still has it. Mini does have enough for the roll.
The life grip will actually miss it. There's a second barrier. There's no clarity potion to help him out. And Mini gets the petrifying bolt and will bounce up and run.
Randler, you're taking so much damage. He's not able to do it. His roll is on cooldown. Oh my, Randler's getting pushed all the way back into his spawn. He has to roll all the way through.
The barrier
comes out. What a pull! They were actually able to secure orb as well, so they have a little bit more energy advantage here, but not looking too great.
Let Randler out of the corner, and that might be lethal here. Oh!
Another fantastic pull. 2-3, always coming in with the bromans.
I'm already full. No more breakfast, please. Tell them, please stop making pancakes. And Randler is really, really low right now. They will secure center orb, I believe. Or actually, maybe that might have gone to TelRoskMi.
TelRoskMi got that one.
Yes.
Teldo and 213 and an M1 fight now in the middle with their supports shortly behind, but here comes an ultimate. Teldo could get bursted down here. The barrier comes out. Will he get pulled back in?
Oh, clarity potion whiffed!
Forcing Mini to use the roll, though. He knows there's nothing left on Mini. If he ults, he can just pin her to the corner, and there it is. Make sure he doesn't get panicked. He's just going to take Mini down. The barrier comes out. Randler now has full open opportunity for the orb.
It's now going to be even. Mini has a little bit more max health, but the center orb is going to go to Mycon TeamKeepo. There's a crushing blow. The barrier comes out. Armor break is applied, but Randler is actually going to kite away. The rush gets interrupted by the grip.
Nice dodge.
213, 213, and Randler have evened it up.
Fantastic use of the Rakan ultimate, pushing Mini back after she used her roll to get it a one ultimate and then using another.
Barrier gets dispelled. If Randler spends roll, Mini can punish with ultimate. Watch out!
Oh, snipe the orb from a distance. The distance on that M2
The roll might be
strong.
here. This is bad. Randler's in trouble. He's going to have to spend the roll to get out of the crippling goo. Petrify is holding Teldo up. He needs to catch up. Nice boulder. Pushes him into it.
What? Pushed her right into range of the M2. Fantastic use of the boulder. Teldo now has his ultimate. He's going to put her in range potentially. No, he's going to turn his target to try and help his teammate out. Oh! Likes the rush. Back up to Randler. Here comes the ultimate. Randler, can you get out of there?
Randler is playing so well, out of his mind right now.
Oh no, here it comes.
Oh, here comes the ultimate from Rakan. Gets pushed away.
Gets completely shut
the
down.
Boulder.
Pushed right back in.
He is being pushed around every which direction, and 213, 213 goes down. Is it going to be a 2v1? No, there's the armor break. Goodbye, Randler. And TelRoskMi tie up the maps. Randler was kiting out of his mind. The decision-making on the cooldowns was also on point. They knew that 213, 213 was in trouble, but Randler waited. He was patient, identified that Teldo still wanted to go on him, popped the barrier, and that extended their life a little bit more, but eventually the pressure was just too much. Finally swapped targets to 213, 213 in the middle when he had spent all his cooldowns and was able to take him out. What an intense map. And now we're going to map 3, coming out the gates with something incredible.
I want to make a small comment. TeamKeepo had 4 orbs to 1 that round and still lost.
I mean, what's blown my mind is exactly that you mentioned. In one case, 6 orbs to 1. In another, 4 orbs to 1. But the pressure that Teldo and Mini are putting out, the thing is, we talked a lot about this in early BattleRekt seasons where we saw 213, 213 and Blanks play it under Project Horizon. One of the things that they did so well was play the objective game. They were able to take a lot of orbs, and it was, for the large part, uncontested. I don't know if you remember, but there were so many situations where it just seemed like 213, 213 was able to get an orb for free and then sit there and then still push their opponents back. But what Teldo and Mini are doing is they're contesting every single orb. Despite the fact that they might not be winning it, they're trading out a lot of damage for it. They're saying, hey, you want the orb? Fine, we're not going to get it. We're going to let you have it, but in exchange, we're going to do a lot of damage to you. We're going to make sure that you pay for grabbing that orb. So despite the fact that maybe you get a little bit of max health and some resources, they make sure that they trade out enough resources to make it worth it for them to give it up.
One of the big close moments was that round 2 overtime. Let's take a look at Teldo showcasing his ability to know just as much as 213, 213.
There it is. Good crushing blow from Teldo. He's been pancaking Randler all map long, and I love it. When the map closes out, I think Rook becomes so incredible. The fact that Mini had barrier here was so important for Teldo. There's not a lot of mobility past using Rush on Rook, and so it gets really important that you have damage mitigation when Crippling Goo comes on top. The grip was not enough to save Randler in this scenario. Deadly Inject comes on, and that forces Randler to spend the Clarity Potion, and that means that Teldo's armor breaks, his stuns, none of that can be clarityed out by Randler, and here we see the effects of that. Trying to roll, but that's not enough. I mean, look how quickly Rook catches up. There it is, crushing blow, and you just lose all your health in that scenario.
I think it's also really easy to... The animation is pretty minor,
nice
but Eat is so fantastic. We've seen him, I think, eat so far 3 times in just this replay alone. Lucy will go down in the panic on 213, and this was just pretty much the end of days for him.
Yeah, mechanically, Teldo playing really, really well. Just won out that duel against Randler, and Mini had been playing mechanically very well also. I mean, in that last round, you see a situation where Mini actually got grabbed up, had to spend his barrier immediately. That sucks for a Lucy. You don't have your roll because it's the opening moments of the game. He had maybe like 1% energy, and 213, 213 had the resource advantage, so he had enough energy to actually spend on his R to teleport, and that helped him avoid the Panic Flask as well. But somehow, Mini still came out on top, was able to heal himself up, get to his next barrier, use Clarity Potion to push 213, 213 away, and then he landed the Petrifying Bolt, mounted up, and just ran. That's such an intense situation, and in many cases against any other Lucy, 213, 213 probably would have chunked them down to about 20% health left. 213, 213 would have gone to town, but Mini kept it together, spent his cooldowns well, survived out that scenario, got got bar, used Petrifying Bolt, got out of there. So important in that scenario that he did that.
I think a lot of it comes down to also knowing what damage you're going to have to take and trying to dodge the biggest damage that you know you're about to amount. So against Mycon, you know you'll probably take some M1s, especially for Lucy. You're not going to be able to get out of all of them, but try and dodge the charged one if you can. Try and dodge a spacebar if you can. Just try and not take all the heavy damage. Understand you're going to take some, and then when you finally get enough energy to you Petrifying Bolt or Panic, then you can get out. But look at this.
I just looked over, and 213, 213 is on Eva. I don't think I've ever seen him play a ranged character.
I am excited to see this. Teldo has rushed in. Now we're going to see 213 try and put pressure on Mini instead, but he turns his attention back to Teldo, gets a little bit of oil on him. The counter does get baited out.
And 213, 213 actually can threaten here because he's on a ranged character. There's a way to punish Teldo for the fact that he spent his counter here. Watch out for Mini, going to take a lot of shotgun shells. Oh, nice double crushing blow. Pushes Randler away, gets the ink cap.
Oh no, 213. He didn't get the orb and he brought the counter, but he will get this. Oh, look at that.
No, it's not going to work. Flicks the rush over to Randler, and Randler has to spend the clarity. Teldo is coming. Randler tries to juke out with the Panic Flash, but Teldo does not bite. Lands a Panic Flash onto Mini as well. But the situation's still looking really bad for Mycon TeamKeepo right now.
It's not looking too great, but I'd like to see what 213 can bring out with this Eva. He does have double shield now with Zap.
Oh no, the Panic Flash gets countered up nice from Teldo.
Randler has to be careful now. He's getting pressured by Teldo. Ooh. Now they're completely separated. Now there comes the Panic. They're going to put the pressure on Randler. He has enough energy, but I don't know if he has the cooldown. There's the end cap cannonball.
Oh, good setup, the Panic, and the Bear comes out just in time. I think 213, 213 fired just a little bit too early. Oh, Flamethrower gets stunned up, and that's going to be a waste of 2 energy. Here comes a big ultimate. We'll go onto the orb perhaps, and there it is. Crippling Goo gets put down, but Mini gets out of that scenario without much to punish them. And another fantastic counter from Teldo. This is looking real bad for Mycon.
It isn't. Take a look at that eat. Effectively 40 health total heals. It's insane, especially when you also have a Lucy on your side. Here comes the armor break follow-up with the boulder.
Oh no, the setup!
Oh,
Mini's going to do a ton. Tries to get a second deadly inject.
Oh, almost pushed that out of range, but Eva was still able to secure that. There's a wasted in cap, not able to get it on Mini.
Oh, Teldo tries to flick. Right now, the game could go either way, but Teldo and Mini are definitely more better positioned to make a kill happen at this moment. 213, 213, and Randler can only hope to weather out the scenario. Good incapacity, but there's no punish on it because Randler is being zoned out.
They're going to tear through that counter with the oil as well. You cannot counter the firebolt. Oh, now it's going to pull Mini into it. Oh,
and the spell block.
Fantastic. Mini will actually go down, and now Teldo is alone with Randler, but Randler will easily be able to bury through this damage. Orb gets taken. Randler now does petrify Teldo. They were able to turn it around.
I love it. I love that. Oh no, Randler, you're in trouble. 1v1 now against Rook, but the counter is down. 213 needs to make it happen now, and he does. Oh my god.
What the hell?
That was beautiful. The tractor beam.
That tractor beam, fantastic. It works effectively better because it continuously pulls you for the entirety of the ability. You can't get out of it unless you have mobility. And as we know, without a roll, Lucy is just stuck.
That's the synergy I love. I love it.
That was incredible.
In the season finale, I love the roster swaps from Croak Lucy and Bako Lucy to Rukon Lucy and now to Eva Lucy, and we still see that there's some insane synergy here, and the fact that Mini got spell blocked there, that taser stun was so key. Put him in the crippling goo for longer, allowed 213 to get more damage. I love it.
Oh, she will grease him up a little bit with that oil, trying to put the damage on Teldo. And Randler looking face to face. Oh, he misses his M2 and his boulder. That's a lot of damage.
Gets petrified up as well. Mini could be in trouble. It's tough for Mini in this scenario. Just gonna get a shotgun.
Oh my god, 2 and 3 just managing to cut out of everything. But that will get body blocked by a berserked Rook, and now TelRoskMi gets that first.
Oh, nice CC. Randler could be in trouble here, has to roll, and actually Crippling Goo is very close, but the incapacity might help Randler survive here. Let's see if Mini's gonna get it. Just one more. Swift roll won't quite be up now, but I don't know if Mini wants to spend, and he doesn't. Spell block again avoided, but this is tough for Mini right now. Oh, gets a stun, gets the orb. That's a big rush to land.
Rush is great for Teldo to just get in orb control when it needs it. The flamethrower will come out and deal a little bit of damage. The barrier will come out, but it doesn't get used too much. Didn't take much damage. Oh, and using the tractor beam to protect himself. 2 and 3. Now jumping out. He might jump right back. The oil lets him put some more damage on Mini, but she does have her ultimate and spacebar down for 2 and 3. almost getting pushed right back in, but just gets out of that one.
Not good for TelRoskMi. They're going to be put in an awkward spot. Gets the incapacitated, and that's going to help them do a little bit of damage here, but there's a lot of cooldowns up for 213, 213 and Randler, and they're going to get the orb. Right now, momentum is definitely in favor of TeamKeepo, and they could spend a lot of resource in these next few moments. Tries to go for the incapacity, but it's going to whiff, and maybe the flamethrower is going to be what's coming next. Oh no, out of mobility. There's a tractor beam.
No! It's so great using that to his advantage to try and mitigate any big damage, especially from Rook. You can actually shield through his M2. Oh, but that's a great push by Teldo, pushing it behind them, but there's so much juice on the table.
Oh no! The zap comes out, gets panicked into
the he gets panicked right back in by the end cap.
Mobility and barrier is gone. They could make a kill on both Randler or 213, 213. It just means it's just mechanics from here on out. Teldo and Mini need to, whoa! Through the wall! That's really great. Teldo needs to do something big here to help Mini out. They cannot lose out the race. Teldo decides to spend on no one, gets petrified up.
Oh, and they will get that orb, which is actually great for them now. They have both ultimates. The flick on Rook, forcing Randler to use the roll. He has no more mobility now, but a good rocket coming in from 2 and 3.
Oh,
not enough.
Randler tried to play ring around the Rosie and 2-1-3, or rather, Teldo was having none of it, was finally able to close out the kill, and that was intense. The fact that Mycon won the orb meant that there was a very real risk of being turned around on. If they were able to land Crippling Goo, any kind of ultimate, Teldo and Mini were having to run around in circles. This is the benefit of running a ranged character alongside a support, and I think that Mycon TeamKeepo was playing pretty well, taking advantage of that towards the end of that round, but it was just a little bit too late.
Take a look at the damage there on 2 and 3. 1,133 damage. Teldo with 987. Granted, that round lasted quite an eternity, but showing a champ that we really don't see in competitive play is still very viable, using it very well in tandem with Randler's abilities as well. 2 and 3 now, gets a good spell block, but I think Teldo was able to cancel it when the rush comes in, but does no damage. He's trying to poke just at M2 range. He knows he can't get him. The counter will get proc, but he won't be able to berserk onto much.
They've zoned 2-1-3, 2-1-3, and Randler out. That's probably going to help them get the orb, and they do. In 2-1-3, 2-1-3, and Randler try to buy in space, but TelRoskMi made it very difficult for them to punish on that. Barrier gets clarity'd out. There's still Zap available, I believe, but the positioning is good on the side of 2-1-3 and Randler. They're not going to be able to punish here. There's a jump and maybe Crippling Goo, but he has a return. Mini dispels the spell block, gets a panic. Could use Crippling Goo here, and there it is! Oh no! He's standing in it! Will use the jetpack again. The cooldown is just a little bit too quick, and Mini's going to spend a full stick of butter, and now Randler is the one in trouble. There's a good clarity push to take off armor break as well as dispel that situation.
He's going to take one off, but they're just going to turn their attention right to 2 and 3.
Nice clarity from Mini. Takes away the Tater stun immediately. But they really need to connect. The kiting from 2-1-3, 2-3 is going to be doing really well. Dispel on Deadly Inject.
Fantastic clarity potion. Trying to get rid of that Deadly Inject damage. So 2 and 3 can survive just a bit longer. The armor break, but he will pick up a little bit of candy. Spacebar's through that M2. He might spacebar right back. He does.
Oh no! 2 and 3 is in trouble here. The rush misses. If anything connects, it's big news. It's bad news for Randler at 2-1-3, 2-3. And there's an incapacitate. Where's the next bear going to be spent? That's going to be really important here. Nice jump. Mini is in trouble.
Mini's going to take some damage. What a good push. Teldo doing such a good job of pushing that orb behind his big fat Rook body.
Nice.
Always able to body block.
Will use a counter, but Flamethrower doesn't proc it. And 2-1-3, 2-1-3 has both Zap and Bear. That's a little bit, that's poor because it's 2 cooldowns spent at the same time, and that's going to be mitigated immediately. I think Mini just whiffed a Panic Flash, but they will still try to connect onto Randler. This is so intense right now. Neither team is able to find a clean connection.
Now 4 orbs to TelRosk and 1 orb to TeamKeepo.
Look at
trying
the butter.
to swap up that orb control, but look at the butter. Double sticks.
Nice panic for Randler.
For Team TelRoskMi. We might see some big damage coming out, but I know they might not want to. The space is now up. Oh, 2-1-3 does go out of that one. Mini does use his ultimate to force him out. Will they actually
nice incapacitate. This is big. There's double butter. Here comes a rush. The map is closing in, and Rook thrives here. Let's see if they can make it work, though.
The flamethrower ripping through that counter. The barrier will come out. The panic won't let him do much damage while he has it. Teldo is completely vulnerable. The oil will come out, but now he's going to switch his targets over to Mini. 2-1-3 has a full stick of butter as well. Randler has nothing left. He's used his roll. He has to be careful.
Nice panic, and it's going to be tough for Teldo to get back in, and another orb goes the way of Mycon. This is intense right now. Oh, the jetpack, and now Teldo's looking like a dum-dum out in the sudden death area. 9 from 2-1-3, 2-1-3, but there's a big connection.
Oh, the big cat pushes him out. He has to space bar back in.
Oh, nice deadly eject, has to dispel there. Rattler's in trouble, 2-1-3 is in trouble, and Tunnel and Mini make it work again. A good dodge on the rush, but still, Rook is too much of a force to be reckoned with in sudden death time. Teldo is making it happen, man.
He has so much presence, especially when that map starts to get smaller. His M2 alone takes up like a fourth of the map, plus his rush. You have to be careful though, as we saw. If he whiffs it, he's right in the darkness himself.
Absolutely, and we saw that situation happen. That was bad. Randler landed a panic flask as well, and that really hurt. But Teldo and Mini were playing out the early game so well, they had a lot of health to spend. Just putting Randler and 2-1-3 in a bad spot, they're kiting out really well. And I think the late game from Randler and 2-1-3 are going really well. The only factor that makes it tough for them is the map closing in.
They have to try and do that damage early on, but we see...
Oh, there's no clarity push, and there's no barrier. If Tunnel lands a connection, Randler is in big trouble. Oh no!
Big cap, and
Randler might just die.
Mini's
he might be over.
Support. This could be it.
The clarity push misses again. There's a barrier. Is it going to get dispelled? Oh, petrifying bolt. There's the fear. Oh, you can't run. So much pressure now. The rush misses, and that might be the one thing that saves Randler in this scenario. But no, Mini closes it out. They're not letting him out of the corner. It could be over here. Oh no, 2-1-3 broke the panic. Randler's done. Randler's done. And it's over. 2-1-3, 2-1-3. Again, the trend continues. TelRoskMi will take down Randler and 2-1-3, 2-1-3, and they are out of the money as well. Third and fourth place will win $100, and TelRoskMi secure themselves a spot in the semis. What a heartbreaking loss. Starting out 3-0. You're looking like you're good. You're looking super comfortable, you're just cruising, and then all of a sudden you look out the window and the wing on your airplane is just gone.
And you're just going down with the ship.
Yep.
Airplane.
It just looks so good for them up until that point, and then they realized, wait, this machine should not be flying anymore, and then they took a nose dive. I can't believe it.